Hello, everybody. I'm Paige or DJ Gizmo from WSOU, and today I'm so honored to be joined by music legend Frank Iero. Frank, how are you feeling today?
Uh, Legendary. I'm feeling great. Thank you
Exactly,
very much. Very,
exactly.
very kind intro. Thank you so much.
So, you've worked on so many amazing projects during your career. Most recently, your band Ellis Dune's second album, Violet, came out in January, and you guys were just on tour overseas with Rise Against. How were those shows, and how have the fans been reacting to the music so far?
It's been great, honestly. No complaints whatsoever. I mean, Rise Against is they've been friends for a very long time. I've toured with them in different incarnations over the years. I think we all have actually, like everybody in our band and all the bands that people in my band have been in have played with Rise Against in different factions. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like it's getting to hang out with old friends, and their fans are very accepting and energetic. They're fans of music, which is really really nice. And I think we got put in front of maybe some people too that didn't necessarily know what our band was or who we are, and that's always a fun challenge. So
Yeah.
that's been amazing. The kids are already singing along to the songs. That just came out not too long ago. And I think there's fan favorites and there's band favorites of songs to play. It's just yeah, I couldn't ask for a better reaction.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And really soon, you guys are going to be starting your headlining tour around the United States, the Like Magic tour. Are you looking forward to those shows?
I really am. It's that's the thing. Putting out a record and going on tour in an opening slot is amazing. It puts you in front of new people, which is great.
Hmm.
But you have a limited amount of time to get to play. So you go through this thing of, oh man, I wish we could get to play this song or that song. So now it's our show. We get to play as much as we want. We get to play all the new songs we want to play, all the old songs we want to play, and can kind of really do a more of a wide array of songs. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's really awesome. Definitely a different experience. For anyone listening interested, the Like Magic tour is stopping closest to WSU in Asbury Park on April 18th and Brooklyn April
Yeah.
19th. What can the fans expect from Ellis Dunes at the live performances on this tour?
Oh man, well, those are our hometown shows basically, right?
Yeah.
So, you can expect us to to be very excited to be playing at our hometown shows and venues. Uh, I love Asbury, I love Brooklyn. All the cities that we're playing are going to be great, but those especially, I think, hold a special place in our heart. Yeah, we've been going through set lists, and now I think the challenge is trying to whittle down how much we want to play because
Yeah.
no matter what, nobody's looking to see us play like a Springsteen set of 4 hours. You know what I mean? So we're definitely we're gonna take you guys on a journey of where we've been and where we're going, and that's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So exciting. So you guys, Ellis Dunes, are usually referred to as a super group, as you should be, with all of your amazing, legendary projects you've all been a part of. But how do you think this dynamic of you all being so experienced in different groups influences the band's creative process or your chemistry?
Um, Well, that's a good question. I think that we've all been friends or friendly for a really long time. Again, touring together in different ways. Like Kevin has toured with Thursday countless times, and Coheed and Thursday have toured, and vice versa, and Circa Survive and all of that. So we've all known each other in that respect, but I don't think we got to know each other as creatives or as artists. Until this band, and so. Uh, I think unknowingly Tucker really put together a band where he chose a person from each of those bands that is uh, just in love with the craft of writing. So when we come together to write for Ellis Dunes, there has knock on wood, but there there hasn't ever been a time where we hit a writer's block or that we hit a wall or that we came to a stalemate of not wanting to compromise and not wanting to do what was best for the song. So I think that that experience play comes into play. I think that just our love of the craft and our love of music comes into play as well. And also too, that want and desire to impress your friends and to never repeat yourself is also a really fun challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, as you were saying, with all of your powerful minds working together, all of you are so passionate and love your craft so much. How do you guys navigate collaborating and combining all of your different ideas and sounds into the project?
Um, well, like I said, it's all in service of the song. I think that is it sounds like an easy task, or it sounds like an easy lesson to learn, but unfortunately, I think bands learn it much later in life a lot of the time. Sometimes, as a young player, as a young writer, an artist, like, you're like, oh, it has to be in the song. I wrote it. It has to be there. Or look, look at this part. It's so sick. Like, it has to be there. And if it's not servicing the song, though, that's where the challenge comes into to really, think about self-editing and
Yeah.
worrying about like supporting those melodies and stuff like that. Um, so I don't know if that answers your question, but I think that's
No, yeah,
we're coming
definitely.
from.
Thank you
This is
so
like
much.
huge.
So I know that you guys formed during the pandemic. So what was it like starting the project during that time and working through that?
Stressful.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think uh I think a lot of myself included, a lot of people kind of blocked that time out. It was a scary time, a very unknown time, and I think it was, especially for our industry, we were the first ones to kind of get shut down and told that, hey, you're never going to be able to do this again.
Mm,
As far as like play a live show or
yeah.
do this thing that you've done all your life. And so we all kind of went home from our respective tours in a state of shock and of course, panic and um, disarray and not knowing what is the next chapter. What do you do? Is it going to be 2 weeks? Is it going to be 2 years? Is it going to be the rest of your life?
Mm.
So you could fall into a depression in that respect and not know what to do. Or you can get a call from your friend Tucker who says, "Hey, they tell us we shouldn't start a band, so let's start a band."
Yep, yep.
And and that's kind of that was a great thing, and as simple as it sounds, but it's true. Um, you know, the way that I've always dealt with hardships in my life has been by being creative. I write
Mhm.
songs and I make things. So why wouldn't I do that now when they told me I couldn't do that? And so
Yeah,
we just started writing them and we never stopped.
I love that so much. And coming out of that, you guys debuted the group and played your first show at Riot Fest in 2022. What was it like taking LS Dunes to the stage for the first time?
Again, scary. This was a band that was born apart, you know.
Mhm.
Uh, and so a lot of these songs work together on the page or work together in the cloud, but sometimes you don't know how that's gonna work or jive together when you're in a room
Mhm.
or on a stage. So that Riot Fest, I mean, I think because of our touring schedules again and things that were coming up, like we had maybe one rehearsal, I think.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
yeah, it was weird. And it was definitely the biggest first show I've ever had with the band.
Yeah.
There were a lot of eyes on the band, and I think expectation, So
Mhm.
it was nerve-wracking, and I think it just so happened that it worked, and I think like two songs in, kind of all like trying to each other, like, oh, okay. Sorry, I don't know if I can say that one, but yeah, it was like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
this works. This works actually. Thank God. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, it's so awesome to see it come together. So how has the recording process changed from the first record, Past Lives in 2022 to now doing Violet?
Well, it's changed in that we were all in the same room recording these songs and
Yes.
finalizing these songs. I think also too from past lives, when we were writing in the pandemic, the band wasn't fully formed really. Uh, the original core of the group was Tucker, Tim, Travis, and myself. and we were just writing songs and just for the sake of writing because we needed something,
Hmm.
and there was a time where we were like, okay, let's put a break on this, and are we going to be an instrumental band or should we look for a singer at some point? And if we are going to look for a singer, like, should we stop writing so much because there's a lot of notes in these songs? Someone might need some room. Uh, and when we decided, oh, I think we should try to get a singer, the first person that came to everyone's heads was Anthony Green, of course.
Of course.
And so we sent him stuff, and the story goes, he liked it and sent stuff back, and it worked out. But I think it was a miracle, really, that and a testament to his talent as well, that he could write to those songs because it was jam packed with stuff. This record coming, Violet, we knew who was in the band. We knew that there was room that needed to be left. Uh, I know now, from playing with him, like his strengths and where he would, kind of interpret where he might go if I gave him a chord progression. So there was, yeah, there was an idea of writing with him in mind and with vocals in mind. So that's another big difference between the first record and the second record. And then just being in the studio and getting that immediate reaction out of people, like, all right, what do you think of this idea? And then, oh yeah, that
Yeah.
makes me want to do this. That stuff, you can't replace
Yeah,
that feeling.
1,000%. So for the first single you guys released off of Violet was Fatal Deluxe back in September. How'd you guys end up picking this track to be the first single for the album?
I think I think it's a good bridger between Past Lives and Violet. I
Mhm.
also think it was maybe the weirdest song off the record, so I felt like, oh, um maybe if we put something like this out first, then we kind of smash preconceived notions of where we were going, and I liked that. I think also too, I like sometimes there's that challenge of like, well, if you like this, then we can do anything kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I thought it was, yeah, I thought it set the tone
Yeah.
because it incorporated a lot of different directions.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree that it sets a good tone for the album. How did you guys decide on the album's track list? And was there a specific intention behind the order or the flow of the album?
That was honestly one of the hardest parts. For me, uh, I in order to fully form a record in my head, I need to know what your track one is and what your ending track is.
Hmm.
Um, Everything else in the middle, that's where you can put those pieces in place. But if you don't have a starting point and an end point, in my head, you don't have a record. So for the longest time, I mean, it was probably 2 weeks, but it felt like forever. We didn't have a track one, and it was really getting to me, and I was getting nervous about it. And um, at that point, Anthony was like, "I kind of have this thing I've been working on," and I've known from experience that when someone is like coy about that, then they have a juggernaut in their pocket that they haven't shown you yet. And so he did, and I was like, "Are you serious? That's track one. What are you kidding me? Why are you hiding it?" So we once we had that in place, I knew how, exactly how we could lay it out. The issue was we had recorded 14 songs,
Mhm.
and I think we were stuck when we included 12 or 11. When it got to be 12 or 11 songs, the sentiment of the record started to shift and change, and it didn't feel right. And so one day I just said, if I cut these and it's a tight 10, it makes more sense to me. And I think
Mhm.
everyone listened to it and was like, oh wow, somehow, some way, like, I don't know if it's a tangible thing that I can put my finger on, but when you're listening to a record, there is a tipping point, you know?
Mhm.
And again, I think it takes a little bit of experience and wisdom, at least for me, to know that I can edit myself, and it's okay to cut things, you know, as much as that hurts sometimes. But I knew that in doing that, we had a better record than at 11 songs. And so we cut it down to 10 and just found that happy place, and it made the most sense to everybody as far as a track listing. But it definitely took us a little bit. Yeah, because there's songs that aren't on the record that we love, that we absolutely love, but they couldn't
Yeah.
make. Yeah.
Oh. Is there a song on Violet that you think is like a defining track or the embodiment of the band's sound for this era?
Um, Another good question. I think there's two of them for this record. I think
Hmm.
one being the title track Violet, and the other being the final track Forgiveness. Like Magic is a close runner up, but
Hmm.
I think that that song makes the most sense within the context of the record as opposed to a standalone track. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
I
could you
think,
act
sorry, go ahead.
No, no, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just going to expand upon that and just say that I think that if you took Violet out of that, it could stand on its own two legs and still be um, a defining moment in the band as well as Forgiveness.
Mhm.
Whereas the others need the support of the rest of the record.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of Violet, could you tell me a bit more about when you first started making that track? I saw your Instagram post about how you first started the demo while testing out your new Fender and playing whatever came to mind. And it's just so cool to see like how naturally the song came to you. I'd love to hear a bit more about that.
Yeah, that's you know, I feel real lucky that I was able to capture that moment, and I feel like as a guitar player, as a writer, like th that happens to us sometimes. As an artist, like you just have these moments of whatever the hell you want to call it. Is it divine intervention? Is it just channeling the universe? Like whatever the heck that is. But sometimes you're just gifted this song or this art piece, and you don't know where it comes from, but you're just lucky to be here to receive it. Um, and sometimes you get those and you forget it. Like you don't have a way to record it, and it
Mhm.
just goes away. And it's heartbreaking, but you feel
Yeah.
lucky to just have that moment. This was one of those moments where I got struck by lightning and had it on film. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, that was a really cool one. And I love having that moment. But yeah, it was. I just picked up a guitar. I liked the way it felt. Sometimes there's this story that I don't know if it's true, but I really hope it's true. It's about Tom Waits going into a guitar shop and always beelining it to this one guitar and never playing it, but just always picking it up and like looking at it and he would leave and then came back and it happened like three or four times. He would go into this guitar shop and always walk over to this one guitar and like look at the fretboard and look at the sound hole and like touch it but never play it. And the guy goes up to him and is like, "Hey Tom, like I see you come into the shop all the time. Do you want to plug the guitar in? Do you want to play the guitar?" And he goes, "Oh, there's no songs left in that one," and it laughs and never comes back. And I think that I don't know if that's true, but I think that whether it's true or not, it still holds this lesson in it. Whereas instruments have a soul,
Definitely.
and sometimes there's no songs left, and also I would venture to even go further with this mumbo jumbo and say that sometimes there's no songs left for me, but there might
Hmm.
be for someone else, Um,
Definitely.
and I think there are these connections to instruments, new and old.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time with the right instrument, and it came out fully formed, and it was an amazing experience, and that is why I still do this after all these years because
Oh.
you chase that dragon.
Hmm. So how did you guys decide then that Violet would be the title of the album?
Yeah, again, I feel like that just kept revealing itself to us. If you when you watch the video, the story goes that was the only word that kind of came out of my mouth as I was playing
Yeah.
that song, and it stuck as the demo title. Then it went forward. There's factions of like, all right, here's a demo, and then as you go, it starts to evolve and change, and then usually the title will change as lyrics come into play and the song gets fully formed. But that title stuck. As we started to record and write more songs, the idea of what violets represent and the color violet, as well as the flower represents, um, these little metaphysical things and the idea of spiritual and creative wisdom At least that's what we found out on the internet. Um, kept coming through, and it was like we had these titles that were good titles, and but I think we're maybe just a little too wordy or a little too on the
Mm,
nose. Didn't leave anything up for interpretation, and I feel like I like to do that sometimes because
yeah.
I like when a listener can make the art their own. I don't want to explain every single detail and period and comma to you because if I do that, then it's no longer yours, it's mine, and you have to kind of like shift around that. But if I just give you what I made and you interpret it into your own life and your own existence, then it means more to you. And I think that that's a great thing. So when it came, it was 11th hour, truly. And Anthony was just like, I think we should just name it Violet. And I was like, I love that. And it just, yeah, everything fell into place with it.
Perfect. And I think Violet works as a perfect title for the album. I think it fits great. On the upcoming like Magic tour, you guys are going to be joined with From Indian Lakes, Plague Vendors, Night Sins, and Derek Zanetti. What are your thoughts on the opening acts you guys have coming on the
I'm
tour?
so excited. I really am. I from Indian Lakes was our friends with Anthony. He
Mhm.
turned us on to that band, and I think they're a rad band. I'm looking forward to watching them every night. Plague Vendor, I've played um with I think the celebration. It was either a celebration of the patients. And we played a couple of shows together, and I fucking love that band. Also, I found out that Henry Cash from Starcrawler is now playing in that band, which is so rad. He's like
Awesome.
a freaking guitar player. Excited to get to see him every night as well. Um, Night Sins is a band from Philly that I've loved for so long. Um, there's that connection also to Nothing, and we've played together before, and I think it's just great bands. I think it's also a really cool juxtaposition as far as like sound wise from our band to their band. And then Derek, of course, is a longtime friend and one of my favorite
Mhm.
songwriters of all time. Anytime I get to hang out with him as well as hear him sing and perform is it's one of my favorite times. So.
Yeah, it's going to be a very great tour, very exciting. On the topic of new music and bands and stuff, are there any new bands or songs that have inspired you recently, or if not, just any new music that's been sticking with you recently?
Jeez, yeah. I actually just started listening to that model actress band. I think is phenomenal. The new single Cinderella I think is great. The video is batshit crazy in all the best ways. I love it. I think that they're a great band. I've been listening to them a lot, just recently. I found out about this other band, and I don't think that they're new, and I don't know if they're still together, but I hope they are. It's a band called Waveform with an asterisk at the end. Um, and like sometimes I'll stumble upon things like that, and it's like, how did I miss this? And I feel like the trajectory of that band too. Like I really love the early records and the juxtaposition between how like um, stark and fragile those records are compared to like the last record that they did called Antarctica. I think that's a great record too, but it's a really cool progression. I was listening to that band a lot. I like I'm just heard the news about Jail. I'm so sad to
Yeah.
hear that they're ending. I think that geez, I hate these. This I feel like whenever I get to ask these questions, like when I go into a record store and I'm like, I've been looking for these records, and I don't remember anything that I'm looking for.
I know.
You know what I mean?
No, I
Um,
completely get it. I'm the same way.
yeah,
Anyone asks like, "What's your favorite band? Your favorite movie right now?" I'm like, Um, but I was gonna kind of
um,
ask you another hard question like that. Even looking at
yeah.
art outside of music, are there any films, books, or other art pieces that have inspired you recently?
Oh man.
I'm asking
Well,
the tough questions
actually,
here.
another tough question, right? Yeah. I just saw The Brutalist, and loved it. I also loved the composing on it and found out that that was done by the guy from Yuck, which blew my mind. I thought that was phenomenal. He did a great job on that. Um, I am watching Red Rooms because Kaylee Goldsworthy told me it was super scary. And then I should watch it, so I'm watching that. Um, I'm reading The Eye of the Dragon right now by Stephen King. And I have just bought hold on. I just bought something that my other friend told me I need to read. And so that is in the mail. Hold on. See all. Gotta get my Amazon order up. uh, oh, it's called Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by
Nice.
Olga. I'm gonna mess this up.
All right.
Tuckerzuk, maybe? Yeah. So I'm excited to read
Awesome.
that. And yes,
Yeah.
and I also pre-ordered the newest pressing of The Exorcist by William Blatty because it looks
Nice.
really cool. So I'm excited for
Very
that.
awesome. Very awesome.
Yeah.
Um, how do you stay inspired and continue pushing your boundaries with your new projects?
Um, you know, for me, I'm always writing. I
Hmm.
just um I'm always writing, and when I can't come up with something new, I get miserable, like most people do. And so that I think is why I have so many instruments at my disposal. I think I have so many bands at my disposal because sometimes it's just about changing perspective or changing your environment, and it opens up a door. I like the way that odd guitars make my hands feel, and it puts me in a different mind space in a different position, and that forces me to write something new. I also think that being around people that inspire me and make me want to be a better artist is the biggest thing. My dad used to tell me, take lessons and learn everything you can about your instrument. Never think that you've learned it all. If you did that, you should hang it up. But the most important thing is playing with people that are better than you,
Hmm.
and pretending that you belong there and you can hold your own. Because in doing that, you learn a lot more about yourself and a lot more about your playing and your abilities. Yeah.
Is there anything you wish that your younger self knew about being a musician that you know now, or are you happy that you learned everything the way that you did?
Oh man, no, all right. There's two sides to that coin. I feel like one, uh I love where I ended up and I wouldn't want to change anything
Hmm.
because that trajectory I think is perfect. It gave me the life of an artist that I love, the family that I adore. So I'm good with that. However, I think that if someone just kind of whispered in my ear and was like, "Hey, enjoy it. It's going to work out," that would save me a lot of stress and
Hmm.
anxiety, tears over this.
Yeah.
Just to have that, to be like you're doing the right thing, follow your gut, follow your heart, and you're gonna be okay. Like
Hmm.
trust me, you'll be okay. That would have really,
Yeah,
really helped. Yeah.
definitely. Um, you guys always say that you aren't planning out the long out future for Ellis Dunes. You guys are just doing what you love, playing the music and living in the moment. And I love that. But as the band continues to evolve, is there any sort of legacy or message that you hope Ellis Dunes leaves with its fans in the music?
Wow. Oh, I feel like um I feel like that's a loaded question because I feel like, when you start to worry about
Hmm.
what you want people to remember about you, or like a legacy thing, it's a lot like giving yourself a nickname or calling yourself a genius.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, that's just never true. Like if you have to tell people that you're a genius, you're probably not. So like, you know what I mean? I think that the best thing that we can do is really just uh continue to write from the heart and make things that we love, things that inspire us, things
Yeah.
that continue to push us forward as artists, and you know, and just do it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
That's the best thing that I think that we could do.
I agree. I definitely agree. Once again, for anyone listening, Violet's out everywhere now, so check it out. It's so amazing. I love the album so much. And like Magic Tour is starting up in a couple weeks, so check that out as well. Frank, thank you so, so much for joining me today. It's been such an honor.
Oh, Paige, it was a pleasure. Thank you so very much for taking the time.
Thank you.